presence of freshness. Dr. Franklin, you are the F of freshness. Thank you for being a strong pillar in a society that have very few pillars. Professor Moore, thank you. Took all my 4 minutes, but I'll continue here. There's a lot of things that this panel can bring. And hopefully, once we get off of these horses up here, you can get in the saddles and kind of ride along with us and ask us questions pertaining to the necessities of growth in a society which has a little dirt. Being from the backwoods of Texas and didn't see white folks until I was about 4 years old, then growing up in a society that did not recognize my color, that taunted me quite a bit in grammar school and especially in college when I learned how to read. So then I went on to do things that a lot of people didn't understand. Why he doing that? I mean, this man holds 11 more simultaneously world record over there. But he's got no. I didn't have it going for me. I had it going. Running 28 miles an hour, I was going, but I didn't know where. So I had to stop and rewind and find what am I doing to help my youth behind me. I suppose this is why now I'm involved in youthful activities. Now, not me being youthful, but being youthful in my ideas to help those youth who need ideas to grow. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. There are kids who need the process of education, but don't have a platform. And Mexico City was just not a platform for Tommie Smith to get up and raise his hand and say, I'm bad. I was bad before I got up there, holding 11 more records. So getting up there doing what I did was a sacrifice because I needed to cherish what I was doing. Okay? Not necessarily the gold medal. If you want to buy it, it's on the market. It's the idea of why I was there. To get on the medal stand and to visually give sight to the blind. No, my name is not Paul. But there are those who needed to see the need to be heard. And that was my idea of a lot of different things here. I know I got 2 minutes. Now, attitude, belief, commitment, desire. Now, I know that we have adolescents out there. Maybe, well, there's maybe some even pre-adolescents. But adolescent and adulthood. I mean, the student athletes who are here who are playing in the game. One of my favorite games. But even doing so, the continuance of education is a platform of growth in this country. Without a plan, a dream is just a thought while asleep. Being clean first about what you want to do or where you want to go is mandatory. So we're talking about that thought process. We're talking about the educational process. Again, the attitudes is everything. You say it, believe it, receive it. Everyone desires success. I think Keith Harrell in his book talked about success quite a bit. And also Chris Gardner. These social adjustments are youth. The social adjustments, yes, someone spoke about athletes making a lot of money. Well, you know, education, without education and a lot of money, will get you in a lot of trouble. And you can ask a lot of athletes who have been in that situation. But if one had the idea of the need for education, such as financial planning, you've heard this, would help the athletes immensely and would help those who are following them see the mindfulness of the educational process. That's why the social adjustments is such. And if one were to adjust their path, and that path go awry, and you fall off, we fall down, and we get up. We never say no to the progression of our youth. But we must stand behind this. Yes, Tommie Smith sacrificed, big deal. Everyone sacrifices. But the necessity in these sacrifices is knowing why the need to sacrifice. Not just sacrifice. We see down in San Diego now there's a lot of problems on that staff, in the student body. Why is this? Well, it comes from the immaturity of people learning that inequality is still run rampant. And so we still got this backup of idiocy in a society which we've already lost enough time in. I got you there, wife. Wife keeps me on schedule here. She tells me, shut up, boy, sit down. Get behind the cover. Sit down. On my way out. On my way out. My daddy, I'm from the backwoods of Texas. All I know is feeding hogs and all that good stuff and reading a little bit, you know. We were to run in Bakersfield. I was about 10 years old. We were to run in Bakersfield. And I had never ran before. My principal told me, he said, Tommie, you can outrun your sister Sally. Now, Sally was built like Tara, but she was big, and I mean, she could beat me all over the place. He said, I want you to go with the track team to Bakersfield. I said, Mr. Fuchs, we don't have a track team. He said, yeah, if you go, we will. So I had to go home and ask Daddy. Daddy. I looked at him and said, Daddy, Mr. Fuchs said if I go to Bakersfield that, you know, we'd have a good chance of winning the meet. He looked at me and he said, Bakersfield? They pick cotton in Bakersfield too? I said, no, Daddy. That ain't gonna run. So he said, well, boy, you know, he said, well, okay, you go on. And I said, yes, get out of the fields. He stopped me, grabbed me, bam, stopped me. He said, now, Tommie, if you take a second place, you'll be out here in the field with the rest of your brothers and sisters next week. Okay? Incentive. I want to be twice. I look at education the same way. And I'm going to get off now. I know I've taken somebody else's 4 minutes over. Praise God for all blessings. Thank you.